Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This is Yusuf Estes, and we're starting a new program called A Straight Path. And to do that, we're going to actually use a real path right here where we're at right now. Of course, we want to contrast it with the world that we all live in today called the Hayat Dunya. So take a look at that. There you go. That's the cars and the houses and all the rest of it that's going on out here. Yeah, you can see they're building a bunch of stuff right here behind us right now. See that? This is the dunya. And this is exactly what we're told about in the Quran when Allah tells us about the Hayat Dunya. Yep, you can hear the cars and the trucks going by. But right behind me, you can see a path. Actually, you see two paths. You see that? One is curved, one is straight. Take a look. All right. So in this series, what we want to do is to approach this idea from a very realistic point and talk about this path, this straight path. There is a straight path, but where is it and how do we follow it? How do we know for sure? And that's what we're going to be talking about. And let's get started on it right now. This is just the beginnings. So this is basically putting something together so you can see and the others can see, to perhaps invest your time in this and share it with other people. At the same time, to get investors to help us to be able to finance this thing, because we want to make it a whole series. Yes, a whole entire season, and then see where it goes from there. And this is, again, the paths. You see that? Can you get the idea? All right, so we're using a real path to talk about the concept of the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And along the way, I thought it would be nice to show some beautiful scenery and play the Quran and let people hear it, especially for those who are emotionally attached to this world and afraid of losing something in this world, even to the extent that they get into alcohol, drugs, and you know the scene, right? So I want to help people avoid that and overcome that. And in order to do that, what we can do, if you'll help me to do that, then of course you'll get the reward for it, and it draws us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala along this beautiful way. Now let me just give you an example of this path that we're walking on right now. This is what we're going to be calling the straight path, all right? Now along the way, look at this. Take a look. You see this? These beautiful scenes that we're seeing right here are a part of what I wanted to show in this program called The Straight Path. And if we're playing the Quran in the background and giving the tafsir or the explanation of it while we're doing this, then there's a good chance that somebody watching this could change their mind and start, leaving this love of the dunya, hub of dunya, for the hub of akhir. And I really want to encourage us to support this effort to help others to see the true path, the straight path, the path of those that have the favor of Allah, not the path that have Allah's wrath, and not the path of those who go astray. Along the way, we're going to be using some of the actual footage that I'm shooting right now, but then we're going to bring in some camera people with professional equipment to really do this up right. Right now, this is just like a test for this thing so that people can get an idea what we're talking about. And obviously, if you're watching this while I'm doing it live, you can tell that this is not rehearsed. We don't have any kind of a script for it. I'm just telling you what we should be doing, what we want to do. And then if you'll share this video and let people know we're working on it, and let them know how they can donate. Now, everybody should know by now that we have a website called Donate to Islam, right? Donate to Islam. That's pretty simple, right? And then if you can't remember that many words, how about Donate Islam? We have that one too. You just donate Islam. Got it? All right, let's go back to the path again. Take a look. This is a very long path. It's miles long. In reality, maybe I should tell you this. Would you like me to tell you the truth about this path? This is a real path, and it was built long ago Yeah, take a look at it. Look, it keeps going and going and going. It's miles long, and it has this white railing all the way along it. See that? All right, now you're probably wondering, in case you didn't know that, that's my hat and my stick. All right, so in case you didn't know this, this is actually a horse trail here in California. There's an area called Riverside and another area called Yorba Linda. And what this is a horse trail that was put in many years ago when all of this property was people that had horses. They still keep it up because a few people do still have horses out here. But for the most part, it's pretty much, well, you see me walking on it right now in the midday, and there's nobody here. And there's no droppings from horses either. That actually is from an animal. Yeah, but not a horse. We have a lot of birds out here, and you'll hear a lot of birds in the program while we're recording this thing. And also you'll hear a lot of background noises right now. Like I'm hearing a machine of some kind in the background, probably a water pump for a swimming pool or something. But we'll take all of that out with the equipment that we're going to have. And this program that we're talking about making a series of is going to be called A Straight Path. So if some of you just now tuned in, somebody shared it with you, and you came over to find out what we're doing here, well, this is exactly what we're talking about, A Straight Path. This is something that we have right here, an opportunity to do in the next few months. Now, it's that window is going to close because we have to move on. But while we're here in this area for the next couple months, we can shoot these episodes. I want to shoot a series of episodes helping people to see the real straight path. Now, take a look up here. Now, see, this is where it gets a little bit quieter because we got away from the background noise of the city and of the buildings and the cars and all the rest of it. And you can also see some of the beauty, some of the real beautiful things that we see in these trees along the way, the colors, the flowers, the blossoms. And pretty much this is all year round here, but especially at this time of the year. So this is why we want to capitalize on it. We want to take advantage of this grand opportunity. The path is available to us to use right now for the recordings. Also, this is something that we have the flowers. Look, I really want to take advantage of getting the real camera people out here and shooting this and then doing these episodes. If you've seen our episodes called Bridge to Faith, those were done with just two people and myself, and we did all of that, and we traveled around the world. Now I want to go just around the corner and just talk to people right here in the United States and the people that speak English around the world and let them know about this straight path, and then use this as a tool to reach out to people and let them know what this straight path is really all about. And in order to do that, we need you to share this video to let people know what we're doing. We don't need a whole lot of investors, just a few. They want to really put in something to help get Islam out there. Of course, if you want to get some of the reward, you can do that, even $10, $20, whatever you want to do. I don't like to use these social media things too much for fundraising, but unfortunately, that's what we have to do. Now, okay, here we come to a point. I want to come to a point. Share this real quick because I'm going to come to a point right now and give you an example of what we're talking about. When we want to talk about the straight path, one of the first things we want to do is prove that there's a God. If you don't prove that, then you're wasting your time. You really are wasting a lot of time with people today, because actually Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, a lot of them, they don't really believe. They really don't. They'll say they do, But when it comes down to it, they don't have the proof, and they say, you know what? If I don't see it, if I don't hear it, if I don't smell it, I don't taste it, I don't feel it, then duh, where's the proof? Well, this is an example on the straight path right now. You ready? I hope you shared this because I'm getting ready to show you this right now. Take a look at this. Now, if you said, what the heck is that? It just looks like some nuts or something laying there. Well, in reality, that's exactly what it is, but it's been through an animal. That's a droppings of animals. An animal has ingested that, eaten it, and then it came out of the animal, all right? So this is an example of, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out, okay, an animal was here, because you have the evidence. So in the same way that you would look at a footprint, let's take a footprint for example. Let me put my foot down right here, all right? There's a footprint. Here's another footprint. Now, when you see footprints in the road, like, here, let's take a look at some more. Here we go. You wouldn't think that the earth just shifted around and made those footprints, would you? No, you'd say, come on. If there's a footprint, that means there was a foot. There was somebody here with a shoe on, and they walked there. Duh, hello. Yes, that's what I want you to say. In the same way, I want you to look at this now. You say, well, those are beautiful flowers. All right. How did they get there? Well, they're probably wildflowers or berries or something. Yeah, that's true. These are wildflowers. But where did they come from? Well, yeah, there were seeds. Maybe some birds, ate the seeds and then dropped them out, and they got, I don't know, who cares? The point is, where did everything come from? And this is, again, why I want to use this path out here to talk about this, because along the way, on this straight path, we have the opportunity to show so many beautiful things along the way. Flowers, trees, the amazing things that Allah has created. Because if you look at for something, I did a series one time called Bridge to Faith, and in it, what we did, we took some of the leaves of the trees of different kinds, and we said that there's no two leaves exactly alike. Now, there are tons, billions, trillions and trillions of trees on the planet, and there's multiple billions times that of the leaves that are on those trees, and not a single one is alike the other. Additionally, you look at your fingertips. There's no two fingertips exactly alike either, is it? So this makes you stop and think. And just like we see this foliage that's right here in front of us, there's not any two exactly alike. Who created all of this? How did it get to be here? And if you said, well, it's just an accident that happened, it sure is a beautiful accident, isn't it? The same way that we look at this fence, this series of fence posts and fence all along this path that we're walking on right now. Take a look at it. How did it get here? Did it just make itself? Well, no, somebody came along and they did that. Now, here's a question though. Is this fence absolutely perfect? Well, no. Why would you say that? Well, because if a human made it, and we're supposed to be the most sophisticated of the creation out here, right? But we can't make it perfect, and we can't, because eventually it'll fall down, it'll have to be repaired, it'll have difficulties with it. Things will happen to it, right? So, how about these planets, and how about these stars and the sun? How about the moons around these planets? And why is it they're all round? How come some of them are not just square or triangular shaped, or just big rock-shaped things. Why are they all round? And when you look under the microscope and you see, again, the same thing, the molecules, the atoms, the components of the atoms are all round. And they're all going in a circular motion, right? It makes you think. It makes you really think, what are we talking about here? How could this all be by accident? And obviously, it's not by accident, is it? So this is why I wanted to do this series called A Straight Path. I wanted to make something that would keep coming back to this subject of the straight path. Then along the way, I'd like to play that from a recitation from some of the scholars that we know who recite and ask them to do the background for this. And along the way, while we're walking, imagine, now of course I'm not a big reciter or anything like that, but just imagine that we have somebody who's really good at recitation, right? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Now, if we give that with a translation, what does that mean? In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All the praise is only to Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. You see how that's repeated already? The Basmala, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Hu Alladhi Jalla Muslimin. And we know that Allah is the one who made us Muslims. And we start realizing right in the very beginning, Allah is merciful, most merciful. And He is the Maliki Yawmiddin,